Yep. All right, share screen. Do the presentation. Presentation mode. Yep.
All right. Thank you all for coming to the Willard Ave public meeting. I will start with
Introductions.
So I'm Zach Cronin, Assistant City Engineer of Portsmouth. We're joined by City Engineer Eric Fiedler and David Fosis, Construction Project Manager. We have CMA Engineers, Whitney and Phil. And then from John Turner, we've got John McCarthy. And then John from Engernies and Sons, the contractor, who I'm sure you're all fairly familiar with. So the reason we're having this meeting is construction will be starting up again. And we wanted to get out and let you all know, provide contact information, give a status update on the project, as well as what still needs to happen. So the purpose of the project entirely was replace the utilities, so water, sewer, stormwater, connections to everybody's properties. And then because that destroyed the road, we needed to then reconstruct the road, new curbing, new sidewalks, and a whole new neighborhood, really. So project area, you're all fairly familiar with it, I assume. Willard Ave, Orchard, Ash, and then something to note is that the Ash Street area is extended a little bit down to the end. That's been a newer development to extend some drainage per some resident requests. So upcoming schedule, we have some begins Monday, so April 7th. Unitil is going to be back on site to rework a little bit of their gas. And then Engernies and Sons are also going to be on site to begin their curbing work. And then, well, prepping work and then continuing on with the rest of what needs to be done. And then construction will end this summer. The rough schedule is
Will end, thank goodness.
will end this summer.
Yes.
It will end this summer. You'll be out of your hair for pipes, hopefully for at least 50 years. And hey, 50.
100.
At least, yes, at least 50. I'm hoping for 100.
Yeah, and in the Unitil work, we were just notified, was it last week,
About last week that
that they were coming back out again?
yes. So that was a bit of a surprise, but they're just doing a little bit of touch up on the work that they had done last year. So I'm gonna move.
So, but in terms of coordination in the field, I think they're gonna work through you, John, in the field in terms of any service interruptions. What was the?
There are no
No service interruptions for the gas work at all.
They're all,
Yes.
so they're just gonna
Yeah.
go and pinch it off.
Small sections and do other work, in between. So as you all saw last year, typical work hours, 7 AM to 6 PM, Monday through Friday. Saturday work would be with any sort of prior approval, and that would be well notified beforehand, I believe as it was last year. Eversource will be coming in. I'm sure you all saw that the utilities got moved from the old poles to the new, and now the old poles are still there. So they still need to be pulled out, so Eversource will be in to remove the old poles.
sometime in the next 2 weeks.
Yes, sometime in the next 2 weeks. Unitil will be back on site, touching up some of the work that they had done last year. Curbing, sidewalks, driveways, so there's the driveway aprons. Some of you may have seen Dave and I out there today, marking out the extents of that. Drain work on Ash Street South, so as I had said, it extended a little bit farther down on Ash Street, and that work, we just ran into the end of the season last year, so. That'll be happening this year, and that will extend drain connections to the properties on that southern end of Ash Street, which is very important to get done. We are also widening Orchard Street a little bit towards the north. We've got a graphic of that I'll show you guys in a bit. And then final pave and get out of your guys' way. So here is Orchard. As we can see over here, that is where it's paved to at the moment. We are extending a little bit farther to straighten this out, widen it. And then another thing to note is that because we have not installed the curbing yet, that this is already narrower than shown. So the asphalt currently is about halfway up on these catch basins, and it will come back about another foot. So that will widen up in both directions and make it feel quite a bit wider than it is now. On top of that, this area here is mountable curbing, meaning that these people who were using this area to park before will be able to continue to do so and get the cars mostly or entirely off of the road. So that will also open up more additional space. There were concerns about how narrow this end had gotten, and it is narrower now than the final configuration will be. So as coordination goes through construction, just like last year, if any driveways are to be blocked, we would notify you beforehand. Granted, there's the deep construction in front of most properties is already done. So the water, the sewer, the stormwater, and the water and sewer completely done for the project. The stormwater work is done everywhere except for that dead end area of Ash Street. So that would be pretty much the bulk of what's blocking driveways, except for repaving in the driveway aprons, which is a fairly short amount of time. But the deep digging that happened in front of most of your homes last year has been completed. So again, if anything would block your driveway, notification beforehand to allow you to move your vehicles out of the way. We're not gonna block you, from getting out of your homes. We are again coordinating most resident concerns through John McCarthy. He is on site every single day, watch the construction every day, up and down the site. You can grab him fairly easily. Here's his contact information, his number, which I'm sure most of you have already, but here it is again if you need it. And then there is my phone number as well. And then we, update the city website, and then we had our email blasts all of last year. So that's, if you haven't signed in yet or provided your contact info and want to be notified, we will continue that.
But if you're already being notified, don't bother because we already got it.
What was the plan for the drainage connections from private property? Like,
Those, we took them to the edge of the right of way, and we could bury those at about 18 inches deep. That way, a homeowner can have their gutter downspouts or their sump pump connected in to that without having to hire a contractor to excavate across the property. So we keep our work within the right of way because we are public works and we work within the public right of way. But properties,
Well, we left them at a reasonable depth so
Yes.
that they're readily available to get to.
yes. Sure, there's a question?
Hey, Zach, yeah, hi, John. So I have a stub, to connect to the sump pump, but I've lost where it is. So
Oh, yeah.
can you find it again?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right,
Yes,
great.
so we've taken ties to them with GPS located. We'll be able to find it again.
All right, thanks. Zach.
Yes.
do we put the rebar on the end of it too, just so we can locate it as well? Just so something detectable. I can't remember if that's
No, we're
not on these. Okay. They're just shallow enough and we have swing ties, right?
Yeah.
We've got them located. So.
So in case it comes up for what your neighbors or anything else, they're all GPS located, they're in our permanent records, and anybody needs to tie into it, all they gotta do is call us and we come out and locate it for you. No problem.
Yes, yes. So, project website, we've update this periodically as well as send out those notifications. This out of the way again, email sign up notification, sorry if I'm blocking the screen. And then city website and the project webpage, so that gets updated with information. This meeting will be posted there along with all these slides. And you're able to sign up there as well for our email outreach. That brings us to any questions you all may have.
And Zach, if I can just add.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, you might not have seen it. We just got, Brian just sent the schedule. So it looks like, the most disruptive work, curbing and sidewalk is gonna be, they're gonna start layout next week and then probably get into it the following week really, and that will go through mid-June. And then final paving kind of towards the end of June, and then hopefully they're done. So as Zach said, most of the major disruptive traffic issues and digging is done, and it's just getting the curb sidewalks in and final paving.
Yes.
My driveway was dug up like everybody else's. Will that be repaved?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, what's down in the drivers right now is
Driveway or
still,
just half of it?
The disrupted area, the area that had been disrupted.
So is it gonna be repaved the same color, or is it just going to, I have to finish the rest out of my own pocket?
Well, it would be paved with new asphalt, so it looks similar
That's not,
to the road.
that's not the question.
Oh.
So the only area that we disrupt is what we need to accommodate either the utility work or the sidewalks to make sure they're ADA compliant when we're done. It's required by the federal government. So if there are remnant pieces of your driveway that didn't get paved, then that's still your driveway and we won't be going into your yard any further. Generally speaking, then we have to. So it's gonna, that location is gonna change for every house. There's no consistent place. I can tell you that this driveway is gonna go up 10 feet, this driveway is gonna be this, it's gonna be completely dependent on the grades in your driveway and where the utility work had to happen. So it's gonna be literally, the driveway work is gonna be different for each and every house, depending upon what we have to do. And we generally don't go any deeper than we have to, because as taxpayers are all paying for everybody else's driveway. So we try to be cognizant of that, we don't spend any extra money, we don't. We have to get the mission done, which is get the utility work done and then make sure that the sidewalk system is handicap accessible.
So because you dug up part of my driveway.
Yeah.
I have to pay for the rest as a high-paying taxpayer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
If you
my,
want it all to be the same color, then, you know, oftentimes we'll just tell people to seal coat the entire thing, and then it looks the same. And then it's really, you know, it doesn't cost much at all. Seal coating, you know, is $300. something like that.
it's fine for you, I'm on a fixed income. I don't make over 100,000 a year as a retired teacher. I'm just very concerned as, I remember in the past, when they worked on our gas and they disrupted our lawns, it was all paid for, it was all taken care of. I didn't have to go out and build a whole new lawn, like you're telling me I need to. If I want my neighborhood, my house to look decent, I have to pay part of my driveway, which is not gonna be cheap.
Right, and once again, I'm telling you that you don't have to pay your driveway, you can seal coat it. And it'll all look consistent.
I can see.
And you should seal coat your driveway. If you don't seal coat it, it's a very good idea to seal coat your driveway because it stops the oxidation from the sun from degrading your driveway. And the
What I'm
driveway will
saying
last
is,
5 times longer.
I think we understand what you're saying.
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
what
do you
we're
think I'm
saying is,
wrong?
we're not gonna
No.
go any further than.
You
we
don't
have
think
to.
I'm wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong, but I think that home ownership has costs associated with it.
Cause I was not asked, or I don't know if anybody else in the neighborhood was, do we want sidewalks? That was never a question asked to me. Were you asked?
Well, it was asked, as a matter of fact, I believe I was somewhat of the catalyst of the situation as far as the sidewalks are concerned. Jan, quite frankly, I don't remember for sure, but I'm sure I polled everybody. The original plans that Zach had put together, put sidewalks all around the whole dog leg, I'm gonna call Orchard Street.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, at least in my opinion, and then I verified with talking to a variety of my neighbors and all that it was necessary to put sidewalks, and I did not believe that it was something that the city of Portsmouth needed to do. This little dog leg is a very cooperative situation with everybody in the neighborhood, whether they're walking their dog down the street or whatever. And I saw that sidewalk, all it would do was take up room on a very narrow access area for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
Now, if I did mention to you, Jan, I'm terribly sorry.
No, you did. I was just wondering if the
But
city
the fact of the
asked.
matter is, let me solve this problem. I will tag team her on seal coating because my driveway is gonna need to do it. You know where it is.
Mhm.
We'll tag team, we'll get it up less than let's call it 80%, I don't know.
And I just wanted to jump in. We did have pre-construction meetings, and before that to show where we anticipated putting sidewalks. We did listen to you and
Oh, obviously.
we took, yeah, some of the sidewalks away because we had both sides orchard and you guys said, nope, too many sidewalks, just one side.
Right.
So,
During the design, I guess.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
So, you know, and that is a citizen, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Because somebody in the town is listening to me or us,
Try, yeah.
okay? And again, I think it was basically I think we're all good concerned citizens down here. I don't have a question, I don't have any comments, all I wanna just say is that the decisions that we're making right here, we're gonna have to live with for the next 100 years. What we do with that road, I appreciate, Zach, that you're taking the issue of widening it up. But you gotta remember, we're a little community down there. We really are. We're almost like a little satellite community. And we have, my family's grown up there. They're gone. But we have other families there that grandparents and grandfathers come daily and they need people to park. And it's quite frankly, across the street where I am is an ideal place for them to park. I'm concerned that it's gonna get to a point that even though we try to minimize the amount of time or space taken by sidewalk, is that my area is gonna continue to be an area of parking. Now, I don't mind it. I don't mind Michael here, everybody coming. But I'm the one who's gotta mow the damn lawn, folks. And if we don't, and when we lost the curbing, when we lost that curbing in front of my street, what I thought we were gonna still have, it's gonna allow people to come. And I don't wanna get mad at people and I don't wanna I pay a lot of money in taxes around here and I spend a lot of money in my house to present it as she has. And that little dog leg right there is unprotected. And this is the fault of 1959 engineering. I know it is. But he's making his best effort, as is everybody else, to try to solve it. And John is the same thing. He's done nothing but cooperating with us. I just want to make sure that when we make the final decision on this, the future generations aren't going to be paying a price. Because they can't park their car, grandparents can't visit their kids, there you go.
Thank you. We did take quite a bit of public input, removing that sidewalk, using mountable curb where people were parking in front of their properties. Quite a bit of
We
mountable
hear
curb.
you, we're gonna take another look at that internally, and then we'll have a discussion.
Well, see, I'm very, very fortunate because we are a very close community. The gentleman sitting in front of me, he takes care of my plowing. We share driveways and all of that. And I think it's just an attitudinal type of situation that I want to continue here. It is a communal situation. Again, I think that maybe some mistakes were made in 1958, 59, and you guys are paying the price for it, but guess what?
We'll take-
I think it's solved. I think
We'll
he's
take
gonna be able
another
to solve it personally, and John too. So, that's why I'm here.
That's the biggest problem I saw this week, that I think we're gonna be okay.
I just wanted to clarify, what is your address?
155.
And your driveway, I'm familiar with, by the way, right on the
Yeah.
slope, so. We'll take a look at that. I can assure you that where they tie in with the new pavement.
Yeah.
That's that gets recut, flushed up, so it's,
John,
What you have out
the
there.
concern is that because we eliminated curb on their side, that they're in the parking lot is long.
right, yes,
So we'll take a look at that.
okay.
Please do. And just as a final comment, now, shut up.
He's.
As I pulled out of my driveway at 55 before I came here.
Yep.
You can see it. And there's all kinds of gas lines and everything. So I took a line of sight shot right down the whole street heading towards Portsmouth itself. Now, I've been graciously allowed a lot of property that belongs to the city there, but I've also been basically granted a very beautiful thing by Catilda Strauss by two very
Those beautiful trees.
trees in the whole, on the whole community. And I don't want to lose those, but I do want to use every bit of space that we can to allow company from across the street. And et cetera. So that's, I'm willing to give it up. I still let the dogs come over there and do their thing. It's great. It's the only grass area in the whole damn street. So they all can come over and do that. I don't care. They all pick it up and it's fine. Again, it's a community thing. But use the space that we have. And I honestly, I know that, John, you specifically, we can talk about this. You come up with numbers, you do, it's your business. And the fact of the matter is, it wasn't incorporated to put in gutter, to put in granite there, after the fact here. And I just kind of think from my background that a granite or straight down the line right there could work and we could still get, Jan and I could get in our driveway. It still would allow more access for, Lanny, you're listening to me, for your mother to come over to visit the kids. And you don't have a place to park. That's all I'm looking at. I'm trying to solve a problem. I think we all want to solve.
Yes, yes,
You know, there you go.
I agree.
That's it. I'm done from the process out of here.
I agree. We have the mounts filter here to hopefully help with that as well.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump to a couple of online questions. Let's see. Emily had her up first. Emily, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I apologize. I'm in the car. But hiya. My question to you guys is, I heard the question about the driveway and the paving or the seal coating. I apologize. I was a little late. Where the digging happened to attach to our, water and sewer and such, is that going to be seeded or is that on us to regrade and
That'll
seed
get
those areas?
restored, Emily.
Yes, the lawn areas where we disturbed would be loam and seeded, so
Okay.
good soil place there, and then seeds to then, grow.
Yep,
Okay. Thank you.
okay,
Thanks. Right. And then I believe,
yeah. Yeah.
hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, I just wanted to jump in because unfortunately I can't say for the whole thing. Just to echo Rick, this is Lainey Fortier. I live right across the street, and I think it's probably my troop of dedicated grandparents that most utilize the little stretch for parking. But just to echo Rick's sentiment, I think my main concern was just seeing how narrow it got, in particular this winter. And I don't know that parking aside, emergency vehicles to get through, which is one of my main concerns. But I also want to echo appreciation. I think, Zach, you've been super responsive and John's on site all the time. And I appreciate you guys working with us to find a solution to make it a little wider, and just wanted to, back up Rick's request for some thoughtful actions before we commit to see how much width we can get out of that road. And I just want to get that out there before I have to jump off. Thanks for putting this session together too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Then Doug Bennett. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you. Is there any plans currently for any form of curbing on Orchard Court?
Yes, we walked a bit of Orchard Court
Go up to the first.
to the first driveways.
Yeah.
Okay. Which would be my driveway and Dr. Snow's.
Yes.
Okay, all righty. That's, just because there's quite a disparity in the level of the land versus the road now.
Yeah, I marked it out today, Doug. I was there today.
Yeah, there should be some white paint marks on Orchard Court out there right now.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. That's all I had.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
I live on Ash Street. When do you anticipate the stubs being in?
The schedule stated from Bernice was mid to late May. That's when they planned to start the drainage work. So start.
Shouldn't take too long.
It should not be that long. It is. They did the entire rest of this
Sometime in May.
project.
The schedule changed, but it looks like starting end of May and into early June is their plan right now.
Is that in ledge or is that just kind of skimming along?
Yes and
It's a
no.
hillside, but assume that there's
Drains are pretty shallow.
Okay.
Drain services are only a couple feet deep.
And then will you be repaving Ash or
Yes.
Yes,
the whole thing?
yes,
Yeah, that the drainage
yes.
yes, will be There won't be much asphalt left after, so paving that
Yes.
street, yes, just yes.
Just yes.
All right, and when will someone come out and coordinate with this, or we
Yes.
can line up contractors, and
Oh,
how will that take place?
that would be communication through John. He's every day on site, very on the pulse of when every part of construction is happening. And we'll be able to let you know when that's
What's going on?
what's going on and when.
And he has a
And
card here now, you can grab it. and-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, got a whole stack of cards.
Yeah, I'll be
So
meeting
we-
with everyone out there.
Are we finalized where those stubs are gonna be located, or is there still flexibility with?
Yeah,
residents'
we've tried to
preference?
optimize, and then John was gonna take one more run. just to
Yeah,
confirm it.
Right, Just make sure.
We walked around last week, we took a best guess,
Right.
and then there was a couple that we had questions on, and then John was gonna reach out and talk to the homeowners on the ones that weren't obvious.
And we've spoken to a few residents there to, place specifically, but. We will coordinate with you where you want it because we'd like you to use it.
Would that generally be downhill, on the downhill side?
That's what we have them kind of planned on right now, so.
Yeah, try to collect anything before it goes downhill to the next property.
So we'll mark out what we're thinking in white paint, and then you can look at it and see if you agree, and if you don't, call John,
All right,
okay?
great, thank you.
Let's see, oh, we have another online. William, can you hear?
Yep, here I am.
Hi.
That's curious, on Ash Street, about halfway up Ash Street, on the north end of it. There's a storm drain on alongside the road, but then up kind of on the property is another storm drain. Is that kind of in the grass? Is that staying? And if so, what's the purpose of it?
There's-
Yard drain.
Yeah, it's gonna be curbing in there, so it'll.
Yes, so we received as part of the original pre-design meetings or during design meetings that a lot of water runs between the backyards of the houses, between Orchard and Willard. And when we put curbing around all of these streets, that could lead to water being trapped in your grass lawn areas. So we needed to have some relief for that. So those were yard drains that got put in to drain any
Surface water.
surface water.
Yeah, they'll also help with the subterranean water as well.
Okay. All right, I was just curious what like I said, what the point of it was, but all right, that answers the question. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more.
And then hello, Joe, can you hear me? Oh, I may have been asked to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, loud and clear.
Hi, there's a
Hi.
portion of Orchard Street that has an asphalt sidewalk. And it's the side of the road that's not going to get a new sidewalk. So is that asphalt sidewalk going to be ripped up and grass
Yes.
planted there?
Yes, we're ripping out a fair amount of that asphalt, so yes.
Okay, thanks.
So I had a question on that. I live at 162. When you had extended our lawn, basically, you left like a paved sidewalk in front. Will that go away?
Where's
Let's see, 162.
It's where the indent will be, the
Yes.
curbside.
Where we're going with the grass.
Is that on
instead of
here?
pavement.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes, this per resident requests in this area, yes, that would be loam and seeded, that asphalt would be removed.
Perfect. Okay.
And then William, I see your hand is up. Do you have another question?
Yes, actually, I do. Bill. We were just talking about that second drain, so it's a yard water drain, but that is certainly not the lowest point of, that the river, we call it the river, that goes between the Orchard Street and Willard Ave. That's further down.
Well, the good news about that is that we used perforated pipe underneath. So it will also, any percolation through the ground will then also, be removed. So it will still help remove water where it is.
I mean, it's not, the worst part isn't behind our house, it's further towards,
Further to the north.
further to the north. So we're not the actual, really.
You
the
have
lowest.
to be cognizant that we're only allowed to put things in the city right of ways.
Yeah,
So that might be private property.
it definitely.
So in that case, it would be up to the homeowner to extend the drainage system with a permit. We would have to authorize a permit to extend that. But the drain is put where we could put it legally.
I see. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Are there other questions?
Yes. How close can you park to a fire hydrant? Cause I have one in my front yard and I wanna know how, I don't wanna be illegally parked.
That is a very good question.
We used to know this.
Yeah, you see it.
And I believe the number is 20 feet,
Maybe.
but
Is that center?
from the center of the hydrant to the edge of the vehicle is 20 feet.
Okay.
Believe it. So I believe that's the answer. It is in the city of Portsmouth ordinances. If you really are bored someday and you want to go to the city of Portsmouth website and look under ordinances, there's actually an ordinance for it.
Oh,
But I believe it's 20 feet.
20 feet,
And
thank
if you stay 20 feet from a hydrant, I don't believe anybody would ever give you a ticket if it was supposed to be 25. But I believe 20 feet is the number.
I was living on Highland Street for a few years and I thought it was 3 feet and.
It's
15 feet. 15. I thought it was.
Oh, yeah.
It's 15 feet.
Sorry.
Hi, Emily.
15 feet?
Yeah, so the hydrant, and then you're 15 feet away from it is the front of your car on either side.
Either, so it's really.
30 feet,
15,
30.
30 feet, okay.
Emily, your hands up again? Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, I again apologize. I think I missed the beginning. When is this starting and when is the hope for everything to be done? Sorry, I missed that. And also,
the
I
gas
forgot
company-
to say thank you because you guys really, Lainey reminded me in my head, you guys just have been so awesome and so responsive and have done a beautiful job. So I forgot to say thank you for all your hard work too.
Thank you very much. April 7th is when Unitil will be on site beginning their work. Grenice will be on site on the 7th as well. And we estimate completion of construction in July. But this summer, this work will be done.
Emily, it's gonna take a couple of weeks for them to start taking out and prepping for the curbing. The curbing will start going in 2 or 3 weeks. And they'll start over on Orchard Street where the job began and work their way toward Lafayette. So it'll be a, methodical kind of linear process. The curbing will go in first and then the sidewalks get built behind the curbing. And then the lawns get restored after the sidewalks get installed, even in areas where there are no sidewalks like at your house. All the loam will get done at the same time after the sidewalks are in.
Okay, that's helpful because I need to redo my personal walkway. And so I need to back end it into when you guys are done. But again, thank you so much.
So all that'll happen probably in May, okay?
Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So,
Dave, the arborists, they had a equipment malfunction today, so if they don't get out the next 2 days to take that tree, they had some pretty big equipment in there with them. Is next
we'll
week,
work with you, don't worry about it.
next week will be okay for them to come in?
Yeah, because the gas company's gonna start down by Ash Street and work toward Lafayette. So, and it's gonna take them a while to get to your house, so I wouldn't even worry about it. It'll be all right.
If there are no other questions, we will wrap this up. Thank you all for coming.
I don't have a question. I just want to make sure because I'm basing this on the history. It appears from what I'm seeing on this map here, Zach, is that the engineering has looked at the fact that emergency vehicles and getting up and down the road at that elbow is going to be a little more accessible than it was before, as there were some issues before.
Yeah, I mean, it previously was about 17 feet, and I think we're gonna have 18 feet once they pave everything in with a curb.
Yeah, it's 8 feet will allow.
A little wider in this area and this turn right
And that
here.
dimension says 22 feet, 7
Yeah,
inches.
the corner itself is much bigger, it flares out a little bit.
We maintained roughly this inner radius and then bumped out the outer radius to give additional space there. So the turning template for emergency vehicles was able to get
that
through
other
this.
18-foot dimension is just up from there. It used to be about 16 feet wide, so it's-
Yes.
it's quite a bit there.
I'll get out of the way here. Yeah, 18 foot down that way. Where it was,
Exactly where your cursor is right now, John. There's amazingly to me, somebody bought a piece of property there. And they're gonna
Yes.
put a house on a quadrangle or whatever the crap is like. Have we looked at what we're gonna do as far as their intersection with that road going down?
Yes.
Curb
Yes, actually.
And dealing with that, Dave?
Yep. Oh, yes, yes.
Because that's a very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's going through final approvals right now. We're interfacing that with the design to make sure that everything gets drained properly. Driveway goes in a good spot, all that stuff is getting worked on now.
Well, I'd like to just get on the record that I appreciate all of the work that everybody's done here. I know this is specifically not a very easy project. Mr. McCarthy's been nothing but,
We've been very lucky.
help.
Yeah.
We've been very
With
lucky.
everybody, and all we have and all everybody thinks is coming here is just concerned about their property. And I know what you guys are doing. We appreciate it. What you guys do.
What side of the sidewalk's gonna be on? Have you determined?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any on.
I may have missed something.
so we have sidewalks, the
The
meeting.
purple line, can you see the purple lines up there? Can you see them?
Yes,
So
Both
on
sides.
Willard,
Yep.
there's sidewalks on both sides.
nice.
And that's-
On Ash Street, it's on this side,
Uh-huh.
and on Orchard, down the hill from you. It's on your side, but on the other, but starting at Ash Street and heading toward Park. And then there's no sidewalk on the whole dog leg.
We don't have a sidewalk.
No, we won't have a sign.
Don't need one, there's no traffic.
There's no traffic there except the dogs.
Right, except the dog. And they're on the grass, as we know.
Right.
Right?
I know, there's a track there.
I know, right?
The kids in the school will be back.
Okay,
All right.
Thank
so
you.
if you guys
Thank you.
have questions, see us on the street. Feel free to ask, we're friendly.
You are
We
very,
try to
very
be.
cooperative.
Try to be helpful.
Here to care of.
And Dave.
I'll do it again. Do we have any?
Thank you all.
Information, like if they have it on the site. So,